Well, hello and welcome to our family worship video today. It's really great that you've joined us and we hope that you really enjoy our service today. We're carrying on our series of Heroes of the Bible, and I'm standing here in front of our timeline that we've been building up. You might have something similar in your own house somewhere. If you're joining us and you're new, then this is what we've been doing over the last few weeks. We've been going through different people in the Bible to tell the story of the Bible, God's story, the story of God's people, and it's been really, really exciting. If you have got one of these timelines, we'd love to see some pictures of it. So send in your pictures of your timelines and we will show them at the end of one of our family worship videos. You can see the people that we've been going through. Last time we looked at David. Then we had a little break for our light party service, which if you joined us, I hope you had as great a time as I did. And now today, whenever you're watching this, we're looking at the next person in our timeline. And that person is someone called Elijah. If you want to, feel free to pause the video and have a quick look in a Bible or a Bible storybook about Elijah. You'll find it in the book called 1 Kings chapter 18. Now, I'm not going to give too much away about what we're looking at with Elijah, but I've got a question for you about worship. Now, worship is what we give our attention to, what we give our time to, our thoughts, our desires. Worship is something that we're made to do as human beings. And I've got a question for you. What things do you worship? What things do you put first in your life? What things are your number one priority? Pause the video and chat with the people that you're with.
Last time we learnt about David and how he defeated Goliath and then found favour with King Saul. Later in the story of David, after many twists and turns, he became king. After he became king, then his son Solomon was king. Solomon was very wise. He was a good king. But after Solomon, there were a series of kings that didn't respect God or follow his ways. One of these kings was King Ahab. King Ahab didn't worship God. Instead, he worshipped an idol called Baal. He asked Baal to bring rain on the land because the people were hungry and thirsty and there hadn't been any rain in a very, very long time. Do you think Baal was able to change the weather and make it rain? No, of course not. Because he wasn't a real god, just an idol.
Our God is a great big Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands.
It's at this point in the story that we start to learn a bit more about Elijah. He was one of God's prophets. He wanted to show King Ahab that God is real and He is the only true God that we should be worshipping. So Elijah set a challenge. He, King Ahab, and all the prophets of Baal went up Mount Carmel. When they got to the top of Mount Carmel, Elijah told the prophets of Baal they should build an altar to Baal, and he would build an altar to God. They were both to place a sacrifice on the altar and then worship their God, and see which God would send fire down on the altar. The God that sent fire would be the true God. Elijah let the prophets of Baal go first. Pause the video now and have a think. Whose altar do you think was consumed by fire? The one Elijah built, or the one the prophets of Baal built?
Welcome to Extreme Survival Skills with Rock Dangerfields. This is Rock Dangerfields. You may know him from his TV shows about survival in extreme conditions, like parched deserts, sweltering jungles, wind-swept mountain tops, or freezing glaciers. In all these adventures, there's one crucial skill that's going to keep him warm, help him cook his food, make sure his hot water bottle is hot, and he has a nice mug of cocoa before bedtime. Can you guess what it is? Yes, it's knowing how to make a fire. Today he's going to show us how. But, oh no, Rock looks upset. What's the matter? Oh dear, his matches have got wet. Must have happened when he swam across that river this morning. You definitely can't light a fire with wet matches. Pause the video now and discuss with the people around you how Rock could start a fire without matches. Restart the video when you've thought of a few ideas. Let's see if Rock shows us some of the ideas you thought of. Remember, Rock is a trained professional. All the demonstrations are done outdoors and in safety-controlled conditions. Do not try this at home. What's the first idea, Rock? Oh, is that a magnifying glass? On a hot day, that could focus the sun's rays to start a fire. Let's see how Rock gets on with this. Well, it seems to be taking a while. Although it is a sunny day, it's almost winter time, so there's not a lot of strength in the sunshine today. Let's try something else, Rock. What's this next idea? Is this one you thought of at home? Rubbing two sticks together creates heat, which could start a fire. This one is taking a while too. Perhaps you need to try something else, Rock. So what's this next idea? It looks like a flint and steel, something you see in many outdoor shops. You scrape the stick and sparks fly off. I can see the sparks. But oh no, the leaves and twigs are damp, and it's impossible for them to catch fire. All hope seems lost. Rock has tried 3 different ways of starting a fire, but none have worked. Have you tried praying, Rock? Perhaps there's another idea you haven't thought of yet. Aha! You've got a gas stove, which you can light with a spark lighter. Can you see the narrow blue spark? Gas will be easier to light and keep going till you have some boiling water. It has been a challenging day. Rock found it impossible to start a fire with wet matches and leaves and twigs that wouldn't catch fire because they were too damp. But he managed in the end, and now he's got a warm mug of cocoa and his hot water bottle, just in time for bed.
The worshippers of Baal went first. They cried out to Baal and danced around the altar, but nothing happened. Elijah said to them, "Maybe Baal is travelling, or sleeping, or busy, or maybe he can't hear you." The prophets of Baal tried shouting even louder, but still it didn't make any difference. Nothing happened. Then it was Elijah's turn. He dug a trench around his altar and he poured lots of water over it. So that everything was wet. The water even filled the trench. Then Elijah prayed to God. Can you guess what happened? Fire came down from heaven, burnt up the sacrifice, the altar, and even all of the water in the trench was gone. This proved to everyone that God is the one true God, and He alone is the one we should worship. Not long after that, God sent the rain.
You'll shine from the inside out, that the world will see you live in me. You'll shine from the inside out,
Well, we're almost at the end of our family worship video today. We hope you've enjoyed it. It's been really interesting, I think, to think about what it is that we worship. Sometimes it's really hard to put God first in our lives. There are so many other distractions and things that seem to get in the way, aren't there? Actually, this is not new to us. People have been putting things in front of God right since the very, very beginning. We've seen it at some of the points along this timeline. But Elijah put God first. In everything that happened to him, he worshipped God. Even when the king was threatening to kill him, he still made sure that God was the number one in his life. We've talked about some of the things that we put in front of God and that we put first instead of God, haven't we? Things like our things that we own, the stuff that we have, the things that we want. What is it that you really want for Christmas? Is that more important to us than God? Or it might be to do with the way that we look and the people that we're friends with and the people we spend time with. Is that more important to us than God? It might be our work or our school or how clever we are or what job we have or how much money we have. For some people, money is much more important to them than God is. But actually, we need to remember to put God first because God made us to worship and we are to worship Him and Him alone. It says that lots of times in the Bible. So let me just give you one more little pause question to chat about with the people that you're with. And that is, what could we do, what could you do this week to help you remember to put God first? To help you remember that God is the number one in your life and to worship God before anything else. Pause the video and have a little chat about what that could be. Well, let's just finish this time together with a prayer. Lord God, thank you that you have made us to worship. Thank you that you are the God of the universe, that you created everything, that you created us. Thank you that you sent Jesus, who died and rose again back to life. And help us to remember that because of these things, we need to put you first and worship you first in our lives. Are you ready to say amen? Amen. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.